Hello everybody in the vinyl community. This is Rich at Embarrassment of Riches. And I'd like to share here the first of what might be 3 of the November vinyl finds and pickups. It was a very, very good November for vinyl. I pretty much kept to my promise this year of buying less than I did last year. I think I might try to do a annual roundup on Discogs to see exactly how many I bought this year, because I still did pretty well. I filled in a lot of gaps in the shelves here and the shelves there and the shelves over there and the extra stuff in the basement. But I've really tried to stick to things that I really want to have in the collection. I'm not just buying stacks to have stacks. And I will start with what we picked up in St. Louis, and also we made a trip to St. Charles, where we lived for a few years in Missouri, and they now have their own record store, which our friends had told us about, and we went to. And I went with low expectations and walked out with a stack. And I'm hoping everybody is having a great December. It has been a good month for vinyl already, and we're only, 9 or 10 days into it right now. And, you can buy a little extra and add it to your Christmas list and throw it under the tree from Santa, and you're good as gold. Nobody will know that you bought it just for yourself. Pretty slick thinking. I think I had previously mentioned how we had made a trip to Missouri to visit some friends that we made while we were there in exile from Southern California from 2016 to the end of 2019, enjoying the flat lands of St. Charles, Missouri. If you've ever been there and you're from Southern California, you might get a bit of mountain missing because there is nothing on the horizon. Great place to be. I loved being there, but it was weird first time in my life to not be surrounded by mountains, because I am from the San Bernardino Valley. I am accustomed to it, and it's a little weird. I'm digressing. It was wonderful to visit these friends that we made when we were out there. We've kept in touch. They're super people, and they know how crazy I am about record shopping. And they indulged me because we went to my favorite place to go for vinyl when we lived out there, which is Vintage Vinyl in St. Louis. It's out there on the Loop. I don't know what they call it now. University City, I guess. But it was the go-to place for buying records when I lived there. It's a pretty good-sized store. They don't have a whole lot of hip-hop or reggae, which is kind of my wheelhouse. But that's fine, because I can fill a lot of other spots when I go there. And I normally have. I only got a couple records this last time because I think I caught them between collections arriving or something, or maybe they're pricing stuff, but there wasn't a whole lot of cool stuff there to get. And the cool stuff that there was, I did pick up. So there are 3 of them. And this one definitely fills a gap in the collection as far as dub is concerned. I really, for as much as I enjoy dub, I don't have a lot of it yet. Mainly because I try to hold out for original pressings of records that I really enjoy. And if you know anything about the prices of some of these dub plates, man, they get stupid expensive. So I went and got myself a Canadian repress of Dub from the Roots from King Tubby. Now this was originally made in 1975 from Tubby, and which is basically the whole entirety of the Aggravators as the backing band for all these songs. And this is the 2010 Canadian repressing. It's on kind of a purple marbled vinyl. I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah, and I just given up the ghost on trying to find one of these in the original pressing in really good condition, because it's not going to happen for less than $125 if you find it at all. It would have to be a mail order thing. You're not very likely to walk into a store and see an OG of this on the wall. And there are dubs with excellent Jamaican players on here, like the Barrett brothers, Austin and Carly. You have Augustus Pablo, Chinna, Santa Davis is on this one. It's basically the entirety of the Aggravators band working not with Bunny Stryker Lee, and it sounds dope. It is deep. It is really, really good listening if you're into dub. These hits on this record are so deep in the dub, it's hard not to get lost while playing it. It is really, really good. And the songs that Tubby messes with on here are from Johnny Clark, Cornell Campbell. There's a lot of great Jamaican hits on here. Awesome stuff. And here's that sweet looking vinyl that it's pressed on. They call it purple, but I gotta tell you, that looks blue to me. I don't know, maybe there's a blue pressing that shares the same matrix numbers. I'll have to look that one up. Regardless, Tubby. Dub from the roots. And this will definitely be the start of me filling the spaces in my dub collection. And record collectors will no doubt understand the feeling I had walking in the store and seeing this classic in the bins for $5. This is Aretha Franklin, Soul 69. Nice. Get your mind out of the gutter. And this is an album of covers from Aretha, the only ones that I am familiar with already because I haven't listened to this yet. But she does cover Tracks of My Tears from Smokey and the Miracles, and I think Bring It On Home from Sam Cooke. So this one I'm very much looking forward to, and also the wife is a great fan of Aretha, so this one will get played. Anywho, this last record is cool because for some reason that I just have not been able to reveal to myself, I do not have any of this band in my collection. I know we cannot own everything. I mean, not yet. But this group, and this is funny because this is the note that was on the record. I'll try to zoom in so you can read it, and I will read it aloud as well. But it says, "This is Fear, Deluxe 3LP reissue. Seller assures us that this is the pink vinyl variant, but there is literally no way to tell without opening it. Anyway," and there's the price at the bottom that had been sharpied out, and they had taken money off of it because you're not going to sell a whole lot of Southern California punk rock in St. Louis. I found that out after 3 years of living there. It is hard to find. But, as previously stated, the band is Fear. And for whatever reason, I don't have the debut or More Beer, the second record. No excuse. They are a little expensive and hard to find in great condition, but I am really out of excuses for trying to find those things to have in my collection. Now this triple LP right here was a direct order from the band apparently years ago, and it contains a live concert from 1982 and a live radio session from KPFK in Santa Monica in 1985, which I imagine will be the better of the two recordings because it's a radio session. I'd never seen them live, but they did have a reputation, and the lead singer, Lee Ving, has himself a very interesting reputation for his repertoire with fans and how loud they play. And yeah, I'm interested in listening to this one. I did finally open it because it was sealed, as per the note. And it is on a very pinkish, translucent, I don't know, that's almost violet, isn't it? I'm either getting colorblind or they're fucking up on naming the color of these presses. But it will be nice to finally have some Fear on vinyl in my collection. And this will eventually spur me on to put an eBay watch list for the first two Fear LPs. There's no excuse to not have that. I have almost all of the bands representing that period of time in Southern California, at least the bands I love. There's a couple I could do without that I'm not missing those records, but I enjoyed Fear. Fear is fun. And they do have a song called Camarillo, which is funny because I did live in Oxnard, which is the town right next to Camarillo. I lived there for a number of years, and that's pretty close to where I met my wife, and she went to high school in Camarillo. I'm pretty sure that they're mentioning the mental hospital that used to be out there because that was kind of what it was known for at the time. But funnily enough, right before we left Ventura County, they had refurbished the old Camarillo the grounds of that Camarillo State Hospital, and I believe it became Cal State University Channel Islands. Life is a trip, man. And here's a really cool inner with some great pictures of the band. Nothing wrong with that. So as I was tallying up my find of 3 records of vintage vinyl and fighting off the creeping despair that was coming along with finding so few records at what was really once my favorite record store in that whole area, the friends we were with had mentioned to me that there was actually a record store in the town where we used to live, which is a small town called St. Charles, which is about, I don't know, we're about 30 minutes northwest of St. Louis. It's a small town, and it did not have any record stores when we lived there. But they said it was a good one. And here's a sticker from that store we went to in St. Charles. It's called Dirty River Records. Highly recommended if you're in the area. I don't know how anybody accidentally ends up in the area of St. Charles, Missouri, but if you're there, this place is awesome. I think I'll start off talking about Dirty River Records and the haul I got there with the last record that I picked up, because I picked it up as we were leaving and he took it off the turntable because he had just been playing it. It was a collection that came in that day. He was cleaning up things and putting them on while we had already been shopping. I'd been there for like an hour already. And like I said, there was good stuff. And I did not recognize this record at all, but it was sounding better and better as the last half hour we were there. Just kept getting better. And I'm guessing it's because the first side, to me, was kind of a sleeper, but the second side was awesome. And that is Children of the Future from the Steve Miller Band. Their first record under the name Steve Miller Band. The year previous, 1967, they had been the house band at a show for Chuck Berry that was released, and they were billed as the Miller Band. But yeah, this is the first Steve Miller Band record. And it's on, look at that. That is very 1968 artwork. Gatefold is very colorful. It's not in the best condition. It's got a tiny bit of water damage along the bottom, and god damn, it smells funky. But the vinyl is in great condition, and like I had said, I was not familiar with this record. Yeah, and this was not on my want list just because, again, you can't have everything. I love Steve Miller, and I do have the greatest hits, 1974 to 1978. I think they pushed like 15 million copies of that. So yeah, I think all of us have at least one copy of that record. And it is on that Rainbow Capitol label from the time. Side 1 is a whole lot more psych kind of music than I really enjoy. I may get there. I mean, if I'm going to get there at all, I think I'll let Steve Miller Band open the door for me. But the second side is what you would expect from the Steve Miller Band. A lot of proto blues. Really good, just really good rock music. Excellent musicianship, of course. And this indeed might be the first time I've ever walked into a record store and walked out with what they were playing on the turntable. I'm usually a fan of just kind of shitting on whatever they're playing because, oh my god, like Vintage Vinyl, as I had previously mentioned, was a store I went to as often as I could. And they would play this fucking jazz. Ugh. Christ. I don't know if it's free jazz or ridiculous jazz or whatever it is, but it's like the kind of shit you put on in a record store when you want everybody to leave. That's kind of how I felt. Like it fucked me off so bad I couldn't even look at records anymore. I just had whatever I had in my hand, fucking bought it and left. Man, oh, yeah. I've spoken previously, man. I can't hang with jazz. Yep, Steve Miller Band, Children of the Future. Awesome. This next record was one that was actually on my want list. And although I am not entirely familiar with the whole record, I knew that I would want it from the snippets I have heard previously. And this is Fisherman's Blues from the Waterboys. I believe this is 1988. And it is in great condition. I'm only familiar with a couple of songs, the title track especially, but I do enjoy Irish folk music. Almost all folk music I think I find myself enjoying, and it's got the original, the original record, the original picture sleeve as well. I am very much looking forward to listening to this and thinking it will probably lead me to finding others as well. And this is all the more interesting when you hear about all the members they've churned through the years, and there was only the one leading force there, Mike Scott. In the middle, he is the songwriter and singer of everything and the main focus. I did a small deep dive on the Waterboys, and it seems that there are 4 distinct epochs of this band with which to choose to find music from. I'm going to start with the early stuff. I think that's kind of how I get into every band. And I had also found out that they hadn't toured for a while, but they are now on tour. And not only are they on tour, they have Steve Earle as the opening act. Steve Earle. And he's also going to be playing guitar for them throughout their set. That would be awesome. I don't know if they're coming through to our area, but I would definitely see that show. 100%. I'm going to go look up after this is done and see if they are coming through and if it hasn't sold out yet. Awesome. Waterboys, Fisherman's Blues, 1988. And lucky for me, this store was chock full of records that I needed to fill gaps in my discographies of some of my favorite artists. And this helped fill the Power Age-sized gap between Let There Be Rock and Highway to Hell in my AC/DC collection. It's always nice to see the promos with the timing strips as well. I'm a sucker for that. There's no guarantee of any kind of increase in sound quality. I mean, I think they do come from the original stampers usually because that's what they send out to record stores and, well, at the time, DJs, because radio used to play records. And really, that's a mighty clean timing strip on that thing because I have some where the gum residue that was used to hold on it, the glue is like seeped through and looks like shit and turned it brown. Lucked out with this one. That presents very, very well. Rock and Roll Damnation, Sin City, Kick in the Teeth. Now, this is prime AC/DC right here, and I love it. There's the boys in the back. Look at that. Next up is another one that should be in everybody's collection, except for whatever reason, Rich didn't have it yet. I got 4 other albums from this band. I always avoided this one because it's the most popular one. I figured it wouldn't be that hard to find when I do need it. And this is the 1983 all-time classic Eliminator from ZZ Top. And man, does this thing bring back a lot of MTV memories. 1983, they had constant rotation of the videos for Gimme All Your Lovin', Legs, and Sharp Dressed Man, just constantly. And I was not in that headspace at that time, so I didn't really appreciate it. It was just like, these guys, okay, well, you know, there'll be something better on in a few minutes, which is kind of how a lot of us ended up watching MTV for a long time before they did concentrated shows like Yo MTV Raps or 120 Minutes, where you knew that there was a higher chance that you were going to see the songs and videos you wanted to see. Otherwise, it's just pop open a can of Coke, make a sandwich, and watch fucking 4 hours of MTV for the 3 videos you want to see and a whole lot of other videos that you don't. But once I did develop enough taste to realize how dope ZZ Top truly was as I got older, the thing that shone even more brightly, I think, than their insanely great musicianship was just how incredibly clean the production always was and how beautifully solid the music always sounded. And of course, I can't do anything without a deep dive, and I find out that the producer, besides the boys themselves, of the band was a man named Bill Ham, who I had never heard of. And I hate that feeling of not having heard of somebody and when it comes to something like this. So I did a little research on the gentleman, and you find out he's basically the ZZ Top's impresario. Like, he found them, molded them. He was the image coordinator, image consultant. What the fuck was that title? Yeah, he was listed as image maker. What? I don't get it. I'm guessing that image included a lot of 32 Ford Coupes, long beards, and black duster jackets, because ZZ Top does have a very, very solid image as a band. And yeah, it was sad to find out about this guy, you know, this late in the game. But Eliminator, this is a great record. And at the top of this video, talking about Dirty River Records, I had mentioned that there was an artist that I got 2 records from. And that would be Steve Miller Band. This is Fly Like an Eagle. Another one I just did not have. It's an all-timer, but you know, there's a lot of songs on here that I love that are on the Greatest Hits collection, especially I think my 2 favorite Steve Miller Band songs, which are Dance, Dance, Dance and Wild Mountain Honey. I mean, I love Fly Like an Eagle and all the other hits, but yeah, I don't know why I did not have this wonderful record in my collection. I don't know how many more Steve Miller Band records that I actually need, to tell you the truth. I think I'm pretty set with the first one here, Children of the Future, that I got earlier, Fly Like an Eagle, and I think I have at least two copies of the Greatest Hits, because the first one is not in great condition, and I got a really sharp one about a year ago. So, yeah. Unless there's some variant of that Greatest Hits. And I thought there was, man. I could have swore there was a version of that 74, 78 Greatest Hits Steve Miller Band that was on blue vinyl. Am I tripping? Because I can't find it anywhere. And I looked on Discogs. I'm going to have to look again. But I swear that I've seen that on blue vinyl. I must be tripping. Anyway. And rounding this out, I believe this is the last one. This is, and thank you for sticking around for the Missouri Vinyl Adventure. This is Billy Joel, Greatest Hits, Volume 1 and 2. I know I'm really bouncing around here with genre and things I love and things that I just need to fill in gaps in the collection. I like Billy Joel well enough, but my wife and my youngest son do enjoy him more than I do. I was buying this for my youngest son, thinking he hadn't had it yet because he had mentioned it. And I'd come to find out that while we were at the Keystone Record Collectors Convention a couple of months ago, he found a sealed copy of this and took it home, and it's his. So yeah, I got this now, and I think I will just bust it out whenever my wife feels like hearing it. Or, you know, fuck, if I'm feeling frisky, I might. It's been a while. I don't hate Billy Joel. He's alright. Good stuff. And those were the albums that I bought at Dirty River Records. Yeah, it was a great trip to Missouri and ended up being great record shopping as well. Thanks for sticking around. There's more to come, man. I have got so many new records. November Pickups is going to be next. That might be a 2-parter just for the sheer size of the stacks and me not wanting to take up all your time. So thanks for coming by. I always appreciate it. I'll see you all next time. This one from... I bought 2 albums. As I had previously October. Fuck me. And we were actually blah, blah, blah. No, motherfucker. Oh. Records that were out at that time or were... Fuck, man. And this is Atlantic or Aletha. Ugh. Ugh. Fuck. Guested previously. Fuck me, man. That's a lot of blah, blah, blahs. No. Yeah. And all... Ugh. And... I do like what I... Pho.